Hope you have a wonderful day. It is about time we get to the business of the day, and tonight we are going to have a very interesting conversation that we had prepared for you. As you all know, that the 21 teenagers who were involved in the Enyobeni Tavern strategy, they are all in the coffin as we speak. Some of them they had start burying them already from yesterday. Two of them were buried yesterday. Today, two as well. I think three were buried today as well. Tomorrow there will be some, and the remains they will be buried on weekend. So, guys, there is what we call official funeral, which was held in East London today, and the president himself was there with different officers who were there to pay their last tribute to these teenagers. And there's a lot of interesting matters that took place today, and we would like to discuss over that. As you see it in our topic, of course, we're talking about um, mistakes that can be avoided, yet have to keep on coming again. And this time we're talking about what had happened in 1985. That was a different eras. And today in 2022, we are having another different eras, but for different causes. So how to avoid that? Obviously, those are the matters that we'll be discussing in this video. But guys, in the funeral, as we saw earlier on, there were some emotions that really touch everyone who were in that place, even those who were in the visual um, screen. All of us were touched because we could see how people were crying, and it was very sad, guys. Seeing those coffin laying down there, and you can't just imagine what could be next again with this kind of dramas. So now the President Ramaphosa came to deliver his speech. And first of all, guys, I have to acknowledge that the president looked very tired, like very tired, because he was even sleeping. And you could see the camera, they would try to take him, but he could not do much about it because he had to do his job, and he had to force himself and try to come and give the speech. So now, as the president come, guys, after he had greeted everyone and told them um, how he received the news from far in Germany, where he was attending other meetings with other presidents, and then he had to explain how he received the call from how he had to call Minister of Police Becky Tele and the Premier of East London, so that he will have to engage with them in the conversation after they had briefed him about what had happened at Enyobeni Tavern. So the first things that I note in what the president was saying is that the president said something that we are not here um, to blame each other, or we are not here to judge each other, because the cause of the death of these teenagers is not yet none. So there's no need for us to keep judging each other. And that reminds me on what I had said a couple of ago in one of my videos, that we people on pointing finger on each other when the real problem is a site which they're supposed to address, but people keep on ignoring, like they don't see it, so they try to point fingers at each other. So the president, he came today, tried to remind people that we do not know what had killed these children, so we can't be there, we can't sit here and start judging each other. Actually, we are here to cry them, we are here to mourn them and find a way out. That was something that the president mentioned, and it was very important that he had to mention it, because, guys, I mean, as a president, if you don't have to mention these kind of things, then it will keep on raising up a lot of confusion in people's mind, because everyone will keep on pointing finger on other people, even if that is not the case. So Another part that really interests me is when the president says that they should change the age for kid to have alcohol. So the president suggested that they should go up, they should increase up the age instead of 18, allowing children who are 18 years old to go and drink. They should try to at least to put it at 21. 21 years of old, they should be allowed. Okay, guys, now that one is something that I really want us to talk a little bit about it. And the first question I would like to know here is that what guarantee does the president and people who come to counsel or who come to suggest him to do this, what guarantee do they have that in this country, if they have to change the number of, the age group of teenagers who are supposed to be drinking alcohol and those who are supposed not to be drinking alcohol, if they have to increase or change it, what guarantee do they have that we're not going to have the same problem? Because as far I know, in this country, I know that we have a serious problem, even whether it is a mature people or teenagers or young ones, we are having serious problem with alcohol. When it comes to alcohol, we don't control ourselves, and that is the reason why you find a lot of women and children out there, they are being victims in a lot of things out there from in the hands of people who are supposed to protect them. So now when the president is saying that they should change the age categories from 18 to from 18 to 21 years old in order for you to have alcohol, and even insist by saying that they should, like a child who's 21 years old, before they take alcohol, before they buy alcohol, before they go inside the nightclub, then they should have to show the ID. Then I just look at myself, I'm like, okay, is that gonna work? Because with 18 years old, we'll see how these people keep on selling them alcohol. Those who are young than 18 years, yet they still be able to corrupt people out there and go inside the tavern and buy alcohol. So now when they're suggesting to say that we should take this to 21 years old, is that really gonna work? That's just a question that obviously I personally I doubt is not gonna work, because the more they'll restrict the law, the more corruptions when it comes to alcohol is gonna be, it's gonna go even more higher. Because when you saying that a child who's 18 years can't go to the nightclub, it should be 21 years old, back home with his parent where they live, you don't know what they're doing there. Do you know how many families they do get to drink alcohol with their own children? That's, I believe you have come across this kind of people. This kind of a family whereby you find the mother, the children, the father, all of them, they share together. So is that also gonna, that law, is it gonna be applied in the homes? That's another question. And even in the community, people, because these children sometimes they don't have access to go and buy alcohol, but instead what they usually do, they'll pay someone, they'll give someone who's old enough to go and buy for them, and then after that they'll go, they'll drink and they'll do whatever they want to do. The only difference is that they did not allow the physical body to be inside the nightclub or tavern, but yet they are still be able to consume alcohol. So when we saying that no, we should increase the age from 18 to 21 years old in order for you to buy alcohol or to drink alcohol in the public places, that sounds good, but I don't think it's gonna work in this country. So as we're going to find out exactly what we'll have also to suggest. But right now we're still in the thought of Mr. President as he was trying to explain what was his plan. So another thing that the president spoke about was that okay, I have tried to put everything down, so I'm trying to see Okay, the next one, the president says that we want to see our police to do much more. Okay, so I hear obviously the president, he was now kind of like trying to blame the police at the same time, but at the same time trying to defend them, because if he himself he had to blame the police, it would be like is kind of like a blaming himself directly. And he said, I remember what he said here, he was like, no, the police, they should do much more than what they are doing right now. So that is the language of a president. But the language of a citizen, I don't think will have even said that the police should do much more than what they're doing right now, because if they were doing something right now, then I don't think that people would have been blaming them for all these things that is happening around the country. So I think here the president should have first acknowledged that there's a serious problem in the police system, and try to figure out what needs to be done in order for the police to go back in their routine and go to do and they can start to do things the way they're supposed to be doing it long time ago. So saying that the police they should do much better than now, I don't know like what was the Mr. President trying to say by then, because the police so far we still complaining about how they are doing the service. And if the president says that they should do much more, perhaps maybe they'll hear him, but on our side we all know what we've been accusing the police for. As a community, also another point that Mr. President spoke about, that as a community we need to help each other by looking after this kid. Here I like what Mr. President said, because I myself, I had said about it, I spoke about it. You know, they always say that your child is yours when it's still in your tummy or in your belly, but once the child is out there, when you give a birth to a child, this child belongs to everyone. And when they're talking about everyone, we see the community. So I like what the president had bringing have said here, because um, the community have a big role to play in all this. Because imagine this kid, when they go wherever they go to chill, wherever they go to take the alcohol. This alcohol, if they are going to buy it at a liquor, which means this liquor, it has someone who's old above 20 years of age who's selling inside there. And at that age, obviously, you are old enough to be a parent, and you could have tried to assume also your responsibility by not selling alcohol to kids who are at a young age that they're supposed not to be taking alcohol. Because when you try to ignore that responsibility, and you try to just grab the money and forget about the consequences that will have to happen after this child had consumed alcohol, that is where things goes wrong. When you are having a tavern, you are having a bar, you are having a nightclub, and it happened that you see a teenager who's at the young age coming inside this bar, it is your responsibility to also to make sure that, no, imagine if this was my child, was I gonna be happy seeing my child taking alcohol here? So what can I do? I think I should stop this child from not uh, buying the alcohol here. But unfortunately, most of these people, they don't do it. They see the money. They try to focus on the money, and that is where everything's like goes wrong, because they are now trying to do something that they they don't want the children to do it, but yet they're doing it for someone else. So I agree with Mr. President here when he says that the community had have a role to play in all this. That community, it is all of us. Like what we are doing here, we're also doing part of that community. Another part that Mr. President says that some of these tavern don't just sell alcohol, instead they sell drugs. I totally agree with Mr. President. Yes, some of this tavern, some of this nightclub, they don't sell alcohol. They sell drugs. They sell things that can destroy the life of these teenagers. So they even go for after committing the crime of selling alcohol to the young age teenagers. They even go for to start selling them some stuff that will even destroy this kid in one day. And that's what I said earlier on. Thanks God, so far all my analytics about Enyobeni Tavern, they are going in the same direction as I had predicted. Because I had said here that before we start pointing each other fingers, let us have think of it. You guys, you can say that no, some people they were busy spraying pepper spray. Some people they say that no, it was a tear gas and what. Okay, fine. But did you also try to think of where these kids were coming from? What they would have taken? Because this kid they like to try new things. These things, I mean, these children they like to experience life. So where they were coming from, they'll have consumed something there. They'll have perhaps drugged themselves there, and this whatever they had consumed there did not take immediate effect at that particular moment until when they arrived at Enyobeni. So I had said about it, but no one did not want to believe me because maybe of what people they were saying here and then. Now that another rumor come to say that it was a chemical poison. What is the difference of chemical poison and what I had said? Because what they had consumed, it could be drugs, it could be poison, it could be overdose alcohol, it could be anything, but it is a chemical which went through the system and destroyed them. So now today here, Mr. President also come and say the same thing to say that some of these tavern, bar, nightclubs, all these places, they don't only sell alcohol. Instead, they sell also some stuff which is like a drugs, and there's a possibility was that this kid, though the reason of the death is not yet well known, but there's a possibility that this is what they usually do, and this is what it had cost their life. So I'm happy for the fact that the president also have the same idea of what I had in my mind. But he also goes to say that we know, all of us, as a society, as a community, we all know where these people are located. These people are not selling it all alcohol to the young age children. These people are busy destroying all the street with drugs and other stuff and the nyaupes. These people, we know where they are, but so far no one have reported them to the police. It's like we're protecting them, but at the same time they're destroying our youth. So the president asked that everyone should know their responsibility, and they should know what to do in order uh, to report this kind of people to the police, so that they can be stopped from what they're trying to do. So that was something that I really like about what Mr. President said on that particular part. He went on to say again that today it's someone else's child, a daughter, a son, who's being a victim from this kind of a strategy. But tomorrow it might be your child. So you as a community, you as an elder in the neighborhood, you as a brother, you as a whoever you think that you are in your society, do something. If you see that the child they are misbehaving, if you see that this child is associating with bad people, they are busy smoking, they are busy drinking where they're supposed not even to be drinking. If you know that this child is supposed to be in school, but yet she's out there or he's out there doing things that which are not appropriate for their age, you as a society, you need to stop them immediately. That's what the president said. that you should stop them, because if you don't stop them, they'll feel like they have the free way of doing things. Since they can't do it back home where they are coming from their parents, so they can do it somewhere else, because a stranger will just look at them and they are not gonna say much about it. And that's what we are seeing everywhere. How many times you have come across some school student that are busy smoking nyaupes, and you wish like you can even say something to them, but you just feel like, "Ah, if I try, they'll disrespect me." I believe you have come across this kind of case, and that is what the president was trying to explain, that no, you need to do something about it. Before you blame other person, ask yourself a question: what have you done so far to prevent this kind of strategy? So I really like that fact, the fact that the president mentioned about it. He went on to say that we must, yes. So he went on to say that we have to create more public place, recreation for the children. And this is what we've been saying here not even long ago. Even the youth who had protested recently at Enyobeni Tavern, they said the same thing. Because one of the reasons was to say that no, we are going to the tavern, or these kids are going to the tavern to drink out there and get drunk, all because there's not public recreations. And that's one of the reasons that they have given. Okay, that's very understand. I mean, obviously, if there's not enough public entertaining places, it's obviously, I mean, like any child out there, they'll feel like they'll need to create their own way of entertaining themselves. Okay, but the president here, he said that they should create more uh, public recreation, so that these teenagers, they'll be able to to entertain themselves. I understand, but now the question is to know, Mr. President, as far I know, all the public recreations places, they can be open from 6 o'clock until 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the evening. So when you say that they should create public uh, recreation, is that mean that they'll also need to put something like a club or what? Because this kid, the time when they die, or when they were involved in that strategy, they were all, it was too late already. You understand? It was too late already, because it was just like, okay, they can't sit until that time for them to get uh, at home, because they feel that they need to go somewhere and chill and do their life. So when the Mr. President, you saying that they should open public recreations, that is good, but that will happen only during the day. What about during the night? So I think there, what I'm trying to say is that Mr. President missed something, and very soon I'm gonna show it to you guys in this, because you can't say that, you can't just mention about public recreation like it is the only solution. Yes, because if a child go out in the evening, they play in the parks, or maybe there are some funny stuff, as it is for the government. Later on, they'll have to close it, because after 6 o'clock, all the activities from the government, they stopped. So when they close, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, where will be this kid, because they don't want to stay home? That is another question, Mr. President. I think you forgot to mention about it, so it is very important. He goes on to say that we have more than 2,000 tavern. Yes, in East London, they are having more than 2,000 public place to drink, where people are consuming alcohol, but they all have few public recreation. So according to Mr. President, he was trying to say that if there is a lot of tavern, which means most of people, many people, they go to spend the time in the tavern, instead of being somewhere, maybe at the library, or maybe park, or somewhere where there's a public recreation where they could have been entertaining themselves. So, and that is not only there. If you're talking about there, what about in Johannesburg, the city where people never sleep? Yes, 24 hours. You find people up and down, especially in Joburg CBD. So obviously, that is another business people are doing because there's not also there's no job. So people they are like, okay, no, I have my 100K. Let me open business. When anyone want to open business, they know that the business that they can make money more quicker is having a liquor store or having a tavern, a drinking place, because these are the things that though there's not much benefit, but the money goes circulate more easy. People buy every day. People buy alcohol more than even buying food for in the house. I know a friend of mine who, if you open his fridge, is empty when it comes to food, but you find alcohol, the dry one, whiskey, any kind of alcohol. And if you are his visitors, you will know already what is your text when it comes to alcohol, and will keep for you there. Sometimes when you arrive at his place, you don't even need to ask for drink. You just go to the fridge and grab whatever you like to drink for that time. So you can see that we are having a serious problem when it comes to that. We consume a lot of alcohol than other stuff. Well, guys, so the president goes on again to say that we call on our community to report any sale of alcohol. I mean, like any sale of illegal alcohol. Because Akir, he had now explained that the kid, they should not take alcohol if you are under the age of 21 years old. So now, if it happened that they see some kid somewhere buying alcohol, they should report it. Now, this brings me to what I was saying earlier on when I asked this question to know when Mr. President is forbidding or when he wants to implement this new law of saying that in order for you to take alcohol, you must be 21 years old. Then when you go to buy alcohol or when you go to the nightclub, you must provide your ID. Then I laugh because when we all know, I mean, as we all know, kids who are getting drunk in the street there, these kids are not even 18 years old. Those who are not passed on, how did them get inside the nightclub? Okay, let's say for an example, because this is what happen in this country most of the time. Whenever they put new restrictions, it will work on for 1 to 3 months. Come after 3 months, you will see that the people will be breaking those laws. Whether it is the sellers, whether it's the consumers, all of us will be doing mess up, and the president will be sitting somewhere already forgot about it. And this kid, they can corrupt. When they find a security guard on the gate, the security guard, for example, perhaps the salary is too small, and this kid are coming like, no, here's 200 rand, here's 500 rand, let us in. Last time I told you how this other guy who was working at a certain nightclub in Val, how he was making money every day, all thanks because of those teenagers who come to buy to trying to eat inside the nightclub. So obviously that is gonna also encourage a number of corruption, especially among the young ones. So there's a point that me I'll suggest that perhaps I wish the president can watch this video so that they can try to apply it. I think it might also help us a lot. So the president goes on to say again that I promise to those who are selling alcohol, if you broke the law, you'll pay for it deeply. Yeah. So Mr. President had shown again today saying that if they catch you, and yes, I understand, obviously, if they catch you, you pay deeply. Because earlier on, Mr. President said that what happened at Enyobeni Tavern, it was a simple crime. That's what he put it. He said that that was a simple crime. So now they have to go and find who's going to pay for that crime. Since it is a crime, who's going to pay for it? So we're still waiting from the police to hear for the police report. Now that Mr. President is saying that if they caught you, you pay deeply. That goes back to what I just said now. This will work on for 1 to 3 months. Come after 6 months or after 1 year, people don't forget about all this. Don't forget that we just bury a couple of teenagers, all because of alcohol. So it is very important that we we really try to come up with a better solution than what Mr. President suggests here. For me, I don't think it makes sense. So he goes on to say that we share the responsibility. The president is saying that what had happened, it is a responsibility that we all need to share. Thanks, Mr. President, for saying that. Thank you so much, because I had said it a couple of times about this same topic in my analysis. I had spoke about it. I said we should stop pointing finger at each other. Let us look around. What had happened had happened. Our tears, our fighting, our disagreement, and everything is not going to change anything, because the damage is already been done. The only things we need to do right now is to find a way out on how we can prevent this kind of a strategy to happen again. That's what I had said. So the president come today to say that we we should share the responsibility. And here we're talking the responsibility about everyone, even you, the person who's watching. Don't think that it's going. If it happened in East London, it's not going to happen where you are. No, always look after the young one that are next to you. Talk to them, have a good conversation, because that's one of the reasons that most of kids are failing the parent out there, because the parent, they never try to have a good conversation with your children. If you don't have a good conversation with your children, obviously you must expect this kind of a strategy that it will always have to happen to you, whether you like it or not. So the president goes to say that a parent, they need our support. Well, Mr. President, let me tell you something. If you think that this parent of this kid need your support, because according to Mr. President, it was like they need the support because what they're going through right now is gonna remain for the rest of their life, because some parent won't will not gonna be able to see the children growing up. Some parents are not going to be able to receive that good night kiss from the children. Some parents won't be able to see the grandchildren growing up next to the mother or next to the fathers. Yes, that is true. But Mr. President, here they supported that, because you said that the support the government can give them is to send them to the legal counselors. They can try to counsel them, like trying to help them on how they can come out of this nightmare. Okay, that's also part of the solution, but the really, really, really problem here is that you need to engage to every parent out there. Every parent, they should take a lesson from what just happened here. Because according to the report so far, they said the youngest one from this kid who was at that Tavern, she was only 13 years old. And the oldest one was 17 years old. Now the question is, how can you as a parent leave your house? I mean, let your child leave your house, and you as a parent, you go to sleep without knowing where's your child. Of course, you're not gonna see what is up to. You're not gonna have an idea what is waiting around the corner for you. But at least sometimes let us try to think a little bit far, instead of us just to sit and wait for something bad to happen, so that we'll start seeing how who to blame and who not to blame. Talking about the support, they each child who died, they had given them 22,000 rand per child. Okay, and that money, they say that no, it's to organize the funeral and what. Just to see how some people can be very full. I was so surprised to see some people applauding. I just look, I'm like, what is 22,000 rand? In our days, what can you do with the 22,000 rand? What are you gonna buy it with? Petrol, food, cooking oil, or what? And when you take this 22,000 rand, what can you compare with? How can you compare it with the life of your loved ones? Because seeing some people uploading for that, I'm like, okay, these are the kind of people who can even come and use you on money ritual, all just because they'll be like, no, I was there. I heard the president, or I heard the minister so and so, or I heard the premier, where they said that every child who was the victim in that tavern, they had given them this amount of money. That money, you're not gonna buy a house with it. You're not gonna buy a car with it. That money is not more worth it than the life of the person that you have lost. So I mean, sometimes let us use our brain. Like if you, even if you want to upload for someone, upload with your brain, not with your hands. Because when you upload with your hands, you just make this person realize and feel so excited that okay, I have done my part. Now that the president was sitting there, that this person will even feel so proud. Like okay, I'm sure my president is proud of me. So next time, after the election, he's still gonna give me another job. So that's support. It's a peanut support, whereby you are having a funeral, and some people they come, they say, okay, here's peanut, just clean up your mouth or brush your mouth, because it is not more worth it than the life of your children. It's not worth it than the life of the person that you have lost. Right now, it look like normal. We could see some people crying out of the emotions, but wait, after 3 6 months, you will see some of these family members, they will be sitting, they will not gonna believe. Especially if you know that no, my daughter, this is a best friend. But that night, unfortunately, like enough for a best friend, she did not go with her. So since she did not go with her, here she is, she's still alive. Whenever you'll be seeing her growing up, becoming a big woman, you start now seeing your daughter like, oh my God, if only my daughter was still alive, this is how she's supposed to be. And when you have this kind of thought in your mind, it will make you cry. You'll cry day and night. That is how that pain it is. You'll feel that pain in your heart every time. So to avoid this kind of things, I think the financial support is not going to change anything. The moral support is not going to change anything. Instead, we need to tell each other the truth. Like, no, look, dude, I know this child was your child, but you did not do enough to protect them. No, my sister, look, okay, we are sorry for what had happened, but look after your children. Because as like you and as a normal parent, how can you go to bed without knowing where's your child? Your child. Mr. President even went far to say that because of this kind of behaviors whereby this kid they go out, they drink, they lost control, and under the alcohol influence, these teenagers they've been becoming the victims again because they'll have unprotected sex, and some of them they'll have to get HIV. And this is what is happening every day. Go at the police station and see how many cases that people are opening there because of this kind of problems. So now the problem here, guys, whether we like it or not, the problem concerns all of us. Me, you, them, everyone. But most of all, this problem concerns parents. I'll keep on hammering on that because I'm a living witness. When I see the way I grew up from my parents' side, the way they used to discipline me, that make me become responsible man as I was growing up. So if every parent can also make the same restrictions in the house, saying that this is my house. I am your father. I am your mother. You are my daughter. You are my son. This is how you need to live in this house. If you go out, at this time you must be home. If you are not home, then don't come here. If you do this, this is your punishment. You tell the child on time. If they don't do it, then you show them that, okay, I had promised you, I had forbid you. Since you challenge me, here's the consequences. So the moment you put this kind of discipline, it will not just gonna help your child to become a better person, but instead it's gonna be kind of like a foundation which you had set for them. Most of parents, they don't do that. Most of parents, they feel like, some parents, they don't even allow you to touch or shout at the children. Even if they see that is wrong, this child is wrong. They're like, hey, you're supposed not to talk to my child like that. Oh no, you're supposed not to beat my child like that. Is he yours? Is he yours? Hey, well, Okay, fine. But here, when Mr. President said in this speech, what did he say? He said that community should assume the responsibility. Community should be able to look after these children, because a child is yours when they're still in the tummy. Once they come out, that it become a child for everyone. Okay, now that this is what we all know about, but unfortunately, some parents, they're not gonna allow you to play your role as a community member, whereby I caught your daughter with a small boy somewhere. They were busy doing some crazy stuff. I pull the ears and I come to you as a parent to tell you that, no, my sister, my brother, see what I have got, find your daughter or your son doing. Instead of you doing something, you don't do it. Guys, let me tell you a very short example about myself. You know, I was 6 years old. I like it when I talk about myself. Sometimes it's very interesting. So 6 years old, I did not know much by then, but I know that what they call men and the women does exist, but I did not know nothing much. So we were renting somewhere in a free state. You know, this guy, I mean, this girl that we're renting in the same yard, she came, she pulled me up. I was with my friend. Her, she was with her sister. And that girl, she was about 6 to 7 years. She was like, no, guys, let us go and play dad and mom. Then we went all the way somewhere in the corner, a hidden corner. As when we get there, this girl, she have to take the move, pull out of the pants, and and trying to show us what she had known so far. So me, I was very nervous. I was very scary at the same time. Now, my friend who was coming from the neighboring side, he was like, dude, if you are scared, let me be. Then he went straight, he starts. Of course, I'm talking about Patapat. The fake one of at that age, you don't know much, obviously, but just the fact that you hug someone here. So the guy went there, and me, I was just like so nervous. When it is my turn, obviously we were standing up, all of us. Whatever we're doing, we're all standing up. So when now my turn arrived, I put my pants in my knees. I stand up. I try to kind of like hugging her, and then I heard a mom calling, Lerato, Lerato Kai. Now, as the mother, she was busy calling her, she kept quiet. She was like, no, let us finish. Now, a mom was like, you this kid, where are you? Because a mom was calling her and there's a young sister. So, and Lerato, she was just quiet. She don't want to talk. A young sister, Mbali, she answered, telling mom, we are here. We are doing a pat. Guys, I'm telling you, I never like, when a mom she asked like, what are you saying? No, we are here, we are doing what. So before a mom arrived there, someone else who was passing on the street, who overheard what that child had said. We don't know that person until today. That person came through and started punishing all of us. My friend was lucky enough, was clever enough. He ran away. Me, I remained in. I got beaten by that man. When the mother came, she beat me like to hell because in her mind, she thought that I was the one who tried to influence a daughter. I got beaten by her. After then, she took me. She went with me all the way to my mom. Calling my mom was like, hey, I got your son. What, my daughter. My mom was like, what? Why I never heard such things before? Where did you even learn this? How did you even start? She beat me when it was, I was so hungry because I was coming from school, so she beat me to death that day. She even put chilies in my eyes. And she took some chilies, she rubbed it, right? So after she rubbed it there, and then she's like, go and do it now again. Go and do it. So she sent me to sleep for the rest of the day. Until when my dad came, my dad had to punish me again. Now, guys, come to think of all this. Do you know that from that moment I was 6 years old? The next time I tried to lay my hand on me to touch or to make love to a woman, I was 22 years old. Will you believe me? 22 years old. And you're not gonna tell me that there were no women out there who wanted to go with me, but instead it was just that self-discipline. I had said to myself like, never, never, I'm not gonna allow myself again to find myself in this kind of attitude or habits. And I waited until when the right time come. So you can see that at least some communities, they can find out something wrong with your child, they'll come forward and help you out. You also from your side as a parent, do your part also to first congratulate them for the fact that they come and help you out, and then assume the rest of their responsibility. So I believe if every parent can put that in their mind, that's going to make things to be more easy than ever. Guys, that is it for today. I hope we had all tried to benefit something. It is from what Mr. President had said earlier on, or either in our analytics and commentary that we had provided you. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. My name is Dopsy, for those who don't know me, and I'm here every day at the same time. Please, before you go, do me a favor, do subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up. I really do appreciate giving me your like. Comment down below, tell me also what you think or what you'd like to see us fixing in our next videos. But for now, continue to be yourself, have respect for everyone, be good, be kind. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.